Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you had a great Monday. Welcome to Tuesday's lesson. Yesterday you learned about taking fractions and showing how that's division and division of fractions. Easy stuff. No doubt you guys all got your homework done, everybody. So today you're going to be learning about identifying how to write equivalent fractions in decimals. So meaning you're going to take a fraction, turn it into a decimal, and take a decimal and turn it into a fraction. Easy stuff. Before we get started, make sure that you have one of these. Teaching tool number 28. Go ahead and write your name at the top and your class number. Go ahead and get that done for me. As soon as you get that done, you should already have your math notes open. When your math notes are open, I want you to write down the fraction 2/5. And I'm going to show you one way to convert this 2/5 right here into a decimal. Now, there are different methods of turning a fraction into a decimal. I'm going to show you one. You might later, when you get to the Khan Academy section, watch their video about converting fractions to decimals, because they just divide it out, which is a great way to do it, and sometimes you'll have to use that method. I'm going to show you different methods. So, on your teaching tool 28, all right, I want you to draw, or not draw a box, but you already have a box. But in your box on your piece of paper, I want you to turn it into 5 equal parts. All right, like me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. Okay, so now that I've got this into 5 equal parts, I need to represent 2/5, because the denominator tells me how many total parts I have to make a whole, and then the numerator tells me out of those total parts how many I have. I have 2/5, so I need to shade in 2 out of 5 of those boxes. Okay, so yours should look a little something like this. That top box right there, 5 equal parts, 2 of them shaded in. Okay, now the box right below it, all right, so this box right here, right below it, I want you to count how many parts I have, because that's going to tell me my denominator. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 equal parts. So, in that box right below it, I'm going to go ahead and draw mine right below it, about the same size here. Alright? Now that one's into tenths. And what I want you to do is I want you to shade in as many boxes as you need to make it look the same as 2/5. So I'm going to have 10 boxes here, and I'm going to start shading in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know I'm not the best artist in the world, but even on this camera you can see that these are pretty close to the same thing in comparison to size. Alright? So this is equivalent. And so my denominator is going to be how many total I have, which is 10. Right? And then my numerator is going to be how many of that 10 that I have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes shaded, so I've got 4/10. Now, we've already talked about equivalent fractions. That's what's great about this. All right? And I know that as long as I multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the exact same number, then while it changes the look and the appearance of the fraction, the value stays the same, because it's the identity property of multiplication. So, when I multiply this by 2, I get 4. I multiply this by 2, I get 10. It's an equivalent fraction. Here's the kicker. What is this fraction? It's 4/10. I am about to give you the best knowledge of today's lesson. Listen up, hands and eyes, guys. Listen up. This is so easy. I'm about to show you how to convert this 4/10 into an equivalent decimal. I want you to read that fraction again. Say it with me. 4/10. Say it with me. Come on. 4/10. 4/10. Say 4/10. Now, I want you to refer back to our lessons about place value in decimals. Okay? Hold on a second. 4/10. How do I write 4/10 as a decimal? 0 and 4/10. That's it. Easy. Alright? Now, this works great when you have a power of 10. So you have 10, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. It works great because I can just have 4/10, 40 hundredths, 400 thousandths, 4,000 10,000ths, and the list goes on to make an equivalent decimal and an equivalent fraction. Alright? So now let's look at another problem that I can give you as an example. So if I have 4/10 and I want to convert 4/10 into a fraction, well, how do you say it? 4/10. I make it a fraction. Now, you always want to simplify. We've already talked about simplification. You want to simplify. And you can use greatest common factor to determine what the number I should divide both these numbers by. But I can look at it and I can say, you know what, those are both divisible by 2. And that would give me 2/5, which is simplest form. Okay? Alright, so now what I want you guys to do is I want you to turn to page 146 in your textbook, and I want you to do problem number 8. It's very similar. I want a fraction and a decimal. Okay? And you can use this if you'd like to, alright, because it's got a shaded box right there on number 8. I don't know if I said 7, I meant 8. So it's got 7 out of 10 boxes shaded. So as a fraction, if it has 7 out of 10 boxes shaded, then that is equal to 7/10. Now, if I'm going to write 7/10 as a decimal, how am I going to write that? 0 and 7/10. Okay? It's pretty easy. I want you guys to also look at let's look at number 13. Go ahead and look at number 13. I'm going to give you a minute to get there. I know I'm kind of going fast. Alright, look down at 13. It says 0 and 8/100. 0 and 8/100. Now, keep saying that, 0 and 8/100. So how am I going to write 8/100 as a fraction? Well, I've got 8 out of how many parts? Oh, 100, because it's hundreds. So it is 8/100. Now this can be simplified. These two are both divisible by 2. If you remember our divisibility rules, if you don't, go back and listen to the song. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. Now, we're not done, because these two are still both divisible by 2. Divide by 2, divide by 2. You get 2/25. Simplified. That 2/25 is the simplest form of our decimal 0 and 8/100. Okay? So now we can convert from decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals. Now, let's say I've got a number. Let's say I've got 2/250ths. You're like, man, I don't know how to do that one. All right, let me give you a strategy. What is the closest multiple of 100 that I can get this number to? Okay, and I can't do it by dividing because 2 is already small, but I can multiply this by 4. 250 times 4 is 1,000. And it doesn't change it so long as I multiply both the denominator and numerator by the same number. So I'm going to multiply this by 4. Right? And 2 times 4 is 8. Okay? Now this is a number I can work with. 8 over 1,000. 8 thousandths. Right? How do you write 8 thousandths as a decimal? So, even if you don't have a power of 10, if you can make it a power of 10, you don't have to do long division to solve it. There's your answer. Now, I know it's a quick and fast version. Now at the end of this, I'm going to play a Khan Academy video that I think will help show another strategy for finding a fraction to a decimal and a decimal to a fraction. Hope you guys have a great day. Good luck on your practice. Thank you so much.